So you met her. 21 days later, y'all are married.
So the topic came up about marriage, and I already said like, well, I know I'm going to marry you, and I know I want to marry you. She also found out something new about me that day because she was like, well, why don't you just, why don't we get married now? You're not gonna marry me now. And I was like, girl, don't play with me. I think it really started hitting after we told our parents, because mind you, we didn't tell them right away. So we were married for about
the plot thickens.
Okay. Yeah, so we were married for about a month until we told our parents. My dad was Glenn, with all due respect, love and respect. He was an asshole. I always thought I wasn't good enough, or I always had to feel like that I had to prove myself even more because of what he did. When in reality, he was actually creating almost life simulations or situations to help prepare me mentally and emotionally for life.
If you had the opportunity to say something to your pops,
ooh-wee.
What would you say to that? Look at this camera right here.
This one right here?
Yeah, right here.
Man.
What would you say to Glenn Francis?
I would say,
All right. Hey, we're back.
Yes.
Back here in the back porch once again.
Beautiful late afternoon.
Oh yes, the weather is perfect. Weather's great right now.
it's different. I think that's one way to put it.
Different. I know you like being freezing.
I like to be cold. I like cold.
Something's wrong with you.
Yeah,
I think so.
Correct. I agree.
I like the cold. Like, here's the first topic. Would you rather be cold and crusty or hot and musty?
Hot and musty for sure.
That's gross.
Yeah, because you can put on
something.
Yeah, you can put on deodorant. You can take a shower.
No. You can actually put on a blanket and layer up when you're cold. And actually may not even be crusty. But I'd rather be cold and crusty than hot and musty.
With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming back.
What is it, 80 degrees out here
Something
right
like
now?
that. It is 81
December,
officially in December.
Uncomfortably warm.
December 26th.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep, it's great. That being said, welcome back everybody to another exciting episode of Lil R&R. I'm Rodney, but you can call me RJ.
Yeah, I'm Rodney Sr. You can call me Senior.
And we are here obviously talking about all the things: fatherhood, parenting, marriage, faith, finances, the ups, downs, the successes, the failures, the triumphs, the disasters, all of it, all those things we're talking about. And we have the privilege today of sitting with somebody that's very, very close to the family. Some think that he's considered the number 2 son.
Can we actually run that back?
No, let me get to my spiel.
Well, you said it wrong.
I didn't. Let me get to my spiel. It's okay. I'm going to edit this part out, just so you know.
Wow. That's crazy. Ladies and gentlemen, he's saying the wrong thing.
We're here with my very best friend, my brother. He is a incredible educator. He's a principal, has his own school. He cares about today's youth. Okay, in a really strong way. Incredible educator, incredible husband, father, friend, brother, all the above, and the best number 2 son of the family that I think anybody could ask for.
Oh wow!
And
I'll let Pops be the deciding factor.
That's fine.
Well, we're gonna continue with that.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, my brother Ronaldo Francis.
Yeah.
What's up, world? I appreciate it. Thank you so much for having me. I'm blessed to be here. You know, y'all already know how I feel about y'all. It's family. It's beautiful. So, here's to the podcast. I just wanted to
do a cheers.
do a cheers. You know,
Why not? For sure. What? I missed it.
All right.
So, we are friends, but we're also brothers in a deeper sense. Right? You are another one of my fraternity members, but also in our fraternity on our line. You are literally my link next to me on the line. And so shout out to the A5A Incorporated, the greatest frat there is.
Oldest and coldest.
Oldest, the coldest, the boldest, and the noblest, if we want to get to it. But anyways, so over the years, bro, we've gotten a chance to know each other
For sure.
really well, and our families have gotten a chance to know each other really well. If wives, parents, kids, right? Our kids have sleepovers all the time. They call me Uncle RJ. My kids call you Uncle Waldo.
Uncle Waldo.
Waldo.
Yeah,
Uncle
that
Waldo.
R was tricky.
They can all say it now. They can say Ronaldo, but Waldo just
it's
stuck.
just stuck. It is what it
Yeah,
is.
back in my day, you know, the cartoon was Walrus. That was called Waldo.
Waldo the Walrus.
Waldo the Walrus.
We're making a connection.
Yeah.
Wow. That's two.
Catching
Okay.
strays today.
Catching all the strays.
That's all.
I'm catching all the strays. This is not how you choose your number one son, and you know it. And you know it.
Number one, you're right, because I'm number one.
That's
And,
crazy.
Yeah, I definitely don't get treated like that, but it's fine. Number two's gotta,
That's fine.
you know, it's fine. So anyway, bro, I think one thing that's really interesting about you is, for one, the way that you've been able to be an incredible husband, incredible father, to 3 beautiful children, been married how many years now?
Going on 9.
Going on 9 years now. And what's cool is how the inception of your wedding, the inception of your marriage came about, right?
Yeah.
We'll get to the fatherhood stuff in a bit.
Yeah.
Like tell us the story of you meeting your wife, getting married, and trailing off.
I'm glad I'm able to share this without my wife, actually, because she would have gave all these little extra ad libs and cliff notes, and no.
Understood.
This is the actual.
This is the truth.
What happened?
Got it.
Right. So timestamps are important for this. So
Yeah.
we met January 22nd. She was at her friend's, like, they were doing like a sip and paint thing, and her friend's husband at the time was like, "Hey, bro, I don't want to be over here with all these women by myself. Can you pull up?" And I was like, "Sure, why not?" So pulled up, hung out with the husband for a little bit, and then we kind of mingled with them. And she was very quiet. She wasn't really like being super extroverted, but like not super introverted at the same time. It's like right there in the middle. And she was a teacher at the time. And what really attracted me to her was the way that she was able to articulate and like defend any topic that she like was presented with. So our first debate was when Betsy DeVos was in office, was Department of Education Secretary, and Betsy DeVos is really big on showing growth, right? Or not growth. She's really big on showing, like, are you proficient at something? Kanika's argument was growth. So it was like a proficiency versus growth thing. And with me being in public school at the time, I was really big on showing, like, are you proficient? Do you know what you need to know? Period. And Kanika was like, no, it's actually about growth. So she set me up real good, and she was like, oh, what do you think about this?
And this was y'all's first interaction with each other.
Correct, having a conversation. So I thought I knew everything I need to know. And I was giving it to her. Here's what I think it's right. She was like, cool. So you're wrong, and here's why. And I was just like, okay. And she was 100% right. So I was like, you right. And I was like, man, that was really sexy. So I was like, okay, cool. I want to get to know her a little bit more, but I want to be real smooth with it. I don't want to be, awkward. So I helped her take her paint stuff to the car. I said, hey, you're new to San Antonio. Because she's only been there for like maybe a year and some change. And I said,
Is
hey.
that new to the area? A year and some change?
To me, it is.
Okay, that's fine.
I'm sorry if I'm being protective.
No, you're good. You're good.
Let me work.
You're
Let
right.
me cook,
You're
man.
right. No, I appreciate the
chivalry. I'm trying to
That's
make
great.
sure. So I said, hey, text me when you get home. Here's my number. So I gave her my number. And then the way I got hers is because she actually texted me and said, hey, I made it home.
Nice.
Bet. So I got her number. And I was just very persistent after that. Like we would text after that, just have small talk on the phone. And everything just grew and was natural. So we would have little work dates and then we would go on dates and then fast forward, it's now spring break week and we go to New Orleans with another couple, Chris and Tegas, shout out to them. And we were in our Airbnb and we're just talking about, love and God and reminiscing on the past, how we got here, relationship stuff, all that good stuff. And so the topic came up about marriage. And I already said well, I know I'm going to marry you and I know I want to marry you. But in my mind, I had the thought of the world, if you will, that says oh, we have to be together for 3+ years before I marry you. Right. And she also found out something new about me that day because she was like, well, why don't you just, why don't we get married now? You're not going to marry me now. And I was like, girl, don't play with me because I will, actually do it.
Yeah.
Because I'm not playing with you. She's like, okay, let's do it. So then next thing you know, we did some research. Fun fact, you cannot get, your marriage license in Louisiana is not fully, active until 3 days later. So we had to get a marriage license that was immediately active to be able to use the chapel that was downtown in the French Quarter. So we drove to Mississippi, closest little court office in Mississippi. We got a marriage license. We drove an hour back. We went to H&M. We got extra stuff to our clothes because we already had a fancy outfit ready, but we didn't have a full we're about to get married outfit. So we got a few extra stuff. We even tried to do the whole oh, don't look at each other kind of thing. And we got married March 15th that same year. And I bawled my eyes out. I don't think there was any hydration left in my body. All of it was coming out in tears. Kanika had to come up to me after she walked down and was like, yo, get it together.
You must have been tore up.
I was. I was tore up.
Yeah.
Tore up. And I'm not a crier. Y'all know this. I don't cry, specifically in public. And it was when you're at the top of a roller coaster, I'm holding it back. And then she walked in and just whoosh. And it was beautiful, man. And March 15th, forever is now an official national holiday. And 8 years later, we're here working on 9.
So one thing I did want to make sure that everybody knew was that this all happened within the matter of how many days?
About 22.
22 days.
Yeah.
So y'all met each other. 22 days later, y'all are married. This is some reality TV show type stuff.
It is.
This is a novel.
For real.
It is. Yeah. But it's the real deal, Holyfield.
Yeah.
So that's why you were crying so much at the altar, because why was you crying
happened
so
so quick?
That's a great question. I think I was
up,
crying because of just overwhelmed with joy, and there's probably a 10% of oh my gosh, we just did this kind of thing. And mind you, we did not tell our parents until after the fact. Right. So I mean, I'm here to this day. So the Lord loves me.
So
okay.
So
wow.
So you met her. 21 days later, y'all are married. Nobody in your family knows.
I mean, they didn't know about her at all.
So they knew of her.
Okay.
They knew of her. So actually, what's crazy is, one of our first dates was in the church. I was singing the praise team at the time, and she came to see me sing. And so she actually came in late, may I add. Came in late, but she sat next to my mom.
He's so petty, bro.
I am, because I know she's going to see it.
She gonna get you done.
That's fine.
You put emphasis on something.
But let her tell it. She was like, God, it was God's right time.
Oh,
Right. But she came in and she actually sat right next to my mom.
Okay.
So my mom and her had a conversation briefly and got to know each other a little bit before I could even introduce her to my mom. And my mom was like, oh, I met this really nice young lady. And I was like,
That's crazy.
who was she? Because then I introduced her again and she was like, oh, yeah. So it all kind of worked out in a way. The first person that I told on my family was my sister. She was not necessarily the happiest.
I can imagine.
When I told her, only because it's not that she did not approve or like or agree with what we did, but my sister's the type of person to where like, yo, if you tell me to be at place A and bring B so we can do C, she's going to do it. So she was mad at the fact that like I didn't call her because she would have been on a plane, she would have been there. But what I had to tell her and what she quickly realized is like, as much as I love you, that moment was not for you or not about you. So like it was just intimate with us and the people that were there.
So let me ask you something, bro. Like, because we'll get to the family piece here in a second. Especially, I want to hear about how things went with you and her dad.
Oh yeah.
Like we got to talk about that at some point.
Yeah.
But what was it about? Because I'm thinking about the people that are watching, right? Like, what was it about her that made you realize, I've only known her for 2 or 3 weeks, but I could see myself spend the rest of my life with her. And y'all, like, after y'all get married, y'all are learning each other. Still learning each other, right?
Yeah, I would say
And I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, bro, but like the still learning piece, like, I've heard Dad say this to me plenty of times about how they've been married 40 some odd years. 44 years, and they're still learning each other to this point, right? But like getting married to somebody that you've known or at least gotten to know after a year and a half, 2 years is different than, you know what I'm saying?
It's a different path, but the skill or the act, I would say, has to be the same, no matter if you've done, we dated for 3-4 years and get married, or you elope, or you wait 20 years before you get married. Like you're always going to have to be an active learner, right? When it comes to love and relationships. So the minute you stop learning in relationships or in marriage is the moment that you'll slowly stop loving, right? We can't do that.
That's good. That's good.
Say that again?
Okay, man.
Bro, no, that was good.
That was good. The moment you stop learning is the moment that you will slowly stop loving, right? Because you have, that takes effort. Like if you want to learn something, you're going to like put all your time and effort into like really learning and being a master of that craft.
And then you start actually taking each other for granted.
Correct.
Yeah.
But like if you stop doing that, like you said, you're taking people for granted, you're forgetting stuff, or you don't put emphasis on things. Like if you know, like, hey, I know for me, perfect example, like December and January, even though like it's Christmas time, our birthdays are in January, that's actually one of the harder times for me and Kanika, because that's when her dad passed. So I also have to learn and know, okay, there might be some extra emotions here that I need to like be ready for to like help,
correct,
vice versa. Or like if you stop loving and you did all this stuff for anniversaries, and then the next thing you do is you just get her a little set of earrings. She gonna look at you like, what?
You gotta keep the standard going.
You know what I'm saying? That's like you're not learning, right? So we're constant learners with that. So
what was it about her that made you feel confident?
Man, she is the first person that truly invested, including, I would say, my parents, that truly invested in me. Because I wasn't necessarily the like poster child for college, right? It took me a while to finish. So the track that I was going with her, I was only taking like 1 or 2 classes from from community college and starting in A&M San Antonio, like I was legit just taking my time.
Mm-hmm.
So she knew like, okay, if you're going to be my husband and you're going to be leading this household, I need you to hurry and get your degree so that way you can eventually start living in your purpose and then ultimately get to this money.
Mm-hmm.
So she literally sat down and she was like, hey, where's your transcript? Like, where are your classes? How many more classes do you need? And I said, this many. Okay, cool. Let's run that up. So if you hypothetically took 4 classes and went full time during this and then this, like how much would that cost?
Mm-hmm.
She's like, okay, cool. Run this. Here's this card. Paid for it.
Wow.
And I was like,
that's wild.
huh?
She like paid some of your tuition.
She paid my last full year at A&M San Antonio. She paid for it.
Talk about investment.
She paid, right. So she took her own hard money, and I obviously, you know, put my refund check back into a little bit of us so that way it offset.
Mm-hmm.
But she took her own money, her own savings, and paid for that.
Yeah.
And that way I can hurry and get done quicker. So that way I can, you know, get my degree and then eventually get into teaching and then so on.
But I do have a question.
I have the answer.
When she said, if you're going to be the head of this household, what do you think she meant? What were you going through when she made that statement? If you're going to be head of the household?
I said, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
If I am, like, that's, like, she elevated what I believed was the standard and where I thought, like, being the man of the house should be. And then she elevated it like, no, actually, this is what it is, at least from my view.
Mm-hmm.
And she showed me, like, here's what my investment looks like into that. So I think there's a difference between saying, like, you know, for example, yeah, I really believe in, you know, Silver Tint. That's awesome. It's great. I'm going to follow you and I'm going to repost your stuff. But actually, here's a sponsorship for it. Or here, let me double down on a gig.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? There's a different level when you actually put action to what actually support and investment looks like.
Silver Tint is my production company. Just
By
so
the way.
Just so people know.
Right. I tried to do a little plug in there.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
I tried to do a little plug. I got you. So, like, she put action behind it, which then was a domino effect because, like, transparently, I was in that moment, I was like, yes, I know education is my calling, but let's see what happens, right? Because I was already going through like this up and down phase of, is this where I really want to be, God? Is this where I need to be doing all this stuff, right? But when she did that lit a fire in me because I was like, okay, I can't let her down because being the head of the household also means like you have to step up and show out, right? So now like I gotta get these grades because I'm not wasting her money, right? So I gotta get these grades, I gotta get this degree, and it helped. And so after that year, she was also working on her master's degree during that time as well. So we actually both graduated. She graduated with her master's like 1 week, and then I graduated with mine like the next week, and it was beautiful.
Yeah, that's great.
So, so she pays your tuition. She pulls out the card, slides it over, says, "Run that."
Love it.
Right? A lot of men might be threatened by that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, for sure.
A lot of men might be like, "Yo, I don't need you to such and such and such. Like, I don't like it's kind of. I just met you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're infringing on my manhood, this, that, and the other. But you were open to that. Talk about why you were open to her help, but also why did you feel like that wasn't like threatening your manhood? Because a lot, and then like, did you feel like you needed to pay that back in any sort of way? Like, how
we did talk about it. We did talk about like, okay, because we haven't really talked about like bank accounts really at that time. Or finances. We were kind of just like going with the flow and just seeing what happens for the first part. So I did offer to pay it back. She was like, nah, like we'll use some of the refund check money, offset it, cool. And this is how we're gonna, we made a plan, right? But I also did not feel any less than her because I knew that there were moments where I knew that she's going to be better at stuff than me. And then there's going to be moments where I'm better at stuff than her.
Correct.
And like, we're going to like lean on each other, right? Like, I don't believe, and this is not even just in marriage, this is just foundational, like leadership, that leadership doesn't have to always be direct and in the front, walking and leading
Mm-hmm.
people
Mhm.
like society sometimes wants it to be.
Mhm.
I think and know that the best leadership actually starts from behind, and you're guiding like that way, but
Yep.
you also have to know when to switch,
Yeah.
right? So there are times where Kanika knows how to do stuff, or she might, have more knowledge of something than me. So I'm gonna let her take the lead, and
Mhm.
I'll support from the back.
Mhm.
Just tell me where to go, and then vice versa,
Yep.
right? And I'm very comfortable with that because I trust her, and she's shown that she's earned my trust. So I
Yeah.
feel comfortable
Yeah.
doing that. You know what I mean? Even when we moved here to the Fort Worth area, like she got her principalship before me.
Mhm.
And I told her straight up, like, this is beautiful. The man in society would be like, no, we're not moving because the man has to make the most money
Mhm.
and I got to be promoted before you. So we're not moving. Like, that's silly.
Mhm.
Like this.
So it wasn't it wasn't you being head of the house making the most money, even though that kind of comes with it, I guess.
Mhm.
But that wasn't her main thing.
No, in her mind, head of the household is, can you lead and guide my family physically, emotionally, spiritually, right? And then for me, adding my part of knowing, like, I don't have to be the star of the show
Mhm. All
every
the
single
time.
right.
Yeah.
I don't have to,
Mhm.
which also takes pressure off of me
Yeah.
at the same time. So I knew that. And so I knew, like, okay, this is actually my time to lead from behind. I call it the parachute effect because, my wife has a lot of great ideas. But in life, not all ideas work.
Yeah.
So I'm already thinking about plan B, C, and D.
Yeah.
And then I'll let her on her own time be like, hey, babe, you know what?
Mhm.
My plan was not great.
Mhm.
And I'm so thankful for you because you helped me do da 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 da. And sometimes she may not.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
That is A-okay.
But you know.
But I know, you feel me? So
Yeah.
I'm okay with the parachute effect. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Because to me, that shows like what leadership needs to look like in the household. And also I'm not as exhausted.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know what I
Sure.
mean? Like I
Yeah.
don't like to be in the front and lead like that. To
I mean,
me is exhausting.
take a toll.
Because you're doing it together.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And
That's
we
the point.
already both have very dominant personalities. So like us trying to battle for that,
Yeah.
that's a lot.
Yeah.
That is very much a
A
lot.
lot of people don't really talk about the toll that comes along with leadership, right? Like
Mhm.
whether
It's
it's
a toll.
whether it's an organization or a business or a company or just in a marriage, period, having to always be that person, even when you may be like a fish out of water in certain
Yeah.
circumstances, right? Like that is exhausting.
It's very exhausting.
But having somebody there with you as a partner,
Mhm.
right? To like legitimately be a partner is gold.
It's
you know what I'm
yeah, and
saying?
it's really weighty
Mhm.
on you
Mhm.
mentally and emotionally and sometimes even physically because
Yeah.
your body's carrying all of that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I
Absolutely.
think I'm blessed that I was able to find someone that I can automatically like trust, and we have that understanding and have communication to where I can just take a step back.
Yeah.
And I don't have to, and vice versa. But I think it started with her at that moment raising my understanding of what the standard should be.
Mm.
And then ever since then, it's like, no, we're now building and pushing each other.
Yeah.
So if that was like the starting point of it, and then we just kept going from there.
So when I think about y'all, and really like a lot of marriages, I kind of think about this, but a lot of times, especially in y'all's case, I think about like risk versus reward, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like when you look at getting married, anytime people are getting married, like it can be a risk, and it always is, but
Yeah.
you're doing
Especially after 22 days.
especially after 20 some odd days. That is
Fact.
that is
Fact.
that is risky. And like when you look at people like investors, right? They look at a company they want to invest in, they look at the trajectory of the company, the history
sure.
of the company, they're looking at, okay, if I put in a certain amount of money, how long is it going to take for me to get that money back with interest? So like they're gauging the whole risk versus reward thing. And that's
Yeah.
done typically over a certain amount of time. But with you all, like the risk was way higher than the reward.
Mhm.
But like I love how there was something that both of y'all saw in each other to where call it faith, call it intuition. I believe that God
It
was
was
involved
definitely
in
faith.
that. You know
It
what I'm
was
saying?
definitely faith.
To where that reward, like you're reaping the benefits of the risk that you all took,
Mhm.
you know,
And I think
few years ago.
for me, like I'll tell this side of the story. For me, it was about faith and then reconnecting with God so I can get realigned. Because before Kanika, like I just got out of a really bad relationship,
Mhm.
and that was the month of January, and I was actually fasting. And I made my own fast. I wasn't drinking. I wasn't eating certain things. I was in my word twice as much.
Mhm.
And I was only focused on work, school, God,
Yeah.
right? And the way that I communicate and talk to God the best is when I'm doing worship. So I was really locked in with the praise team at the time. And just that's all I was doing.
Mhm.
I didn't want anything else to do with any kind of relationship. I just wanted to make sure like I got right with myself, spiritually and physically, emotionally before I can get ready for anyone else.
Sure.
And the biggest thing I needed to work on was faith, because I was always like, God, I don't know.
Mhm.
Like, God, this looks a little iffy. Like, why do you have me doing this? Or why am I not doing this?
Mhm.
Like, right? So during that month, like I was on a real good streak. Like,
Yeah.
you know, because there's times like you'll be praying and you'll be talking to God and it's real cool. God, I see you. God, thank you. Or it's, you're vibing really, really well.
Mhm.
And then there's other times when God's like, nah, this is what you need to do.
Mhm.
And if you don't do it, here's right. And you're like, you sure? Right? I was on a real good streak with God, and doing all the things I needed to do. So in a sense, it's almost like Kanika showing up was like, oh, okay, Ronaldo, you're doing all the things. I see you. Here you go.
Mhm.
And I was like, oh,
Mhm.
and I got to take advantage of this. Like I cannot let this person go.
Yeah.
And I think it's good that you were getting yourself together,
yeah,
because so many people talk about, I can't. You're my other half of me.
Right.
I'm not complete. I'm not complete without you.
No.
You got to make sure that
it's more like two wholes becoming one whole,
Absolutely.
not two halves.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. Like I think that's one of those like immature love things. That's if you're in high school, I could hear you saying that.
Yeah.
Oh, my love bird, it can happen. No. You gotta be whole, because if you're not completely together, and that other person's not completely together, then
You're gonna have problems.
you are going to have problems,
Yeah.
right? Or we will say that there are more room for problems.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because you can
Mhm.
always have
Because
For sure.
Yeah.
you always, but I
For
always
sure.
think like, and I bet even in y'all's situation, like I'm pretty sure there was a catalyst moment where somebody or both people in the relationship had to, give up something of themselves or take a high risk
Mhm.
in order to see if the relationship is actually going to be a thing or for the relationship to work.
Yeah.
So what I would tell married couples is like, be ready for that big moment. Because I think that's also going to test and see like, okay, is this for real? Am I comfortable enough sacrificing or being vulnerable enough to be like, hey, I don't have this. So then the other person has to help me, and vice versa. Are you ready for that?
It's funny that that you said for the big moment, but there are many big moments.
True. Saying I do is not the big.
No, I mean there's
It's
big
really
moments.
not.
It's the lead up to it.
Yeah, for sure.
It's the lead up.
Yeah, definitely. So, like, hold on. Let me figure out how I want to phrase this. Okay, so I'll ask this question first. So, like, bro, when it comes down to, um, you know, getting married quickly, right? Taking that risk, taking that jump, you're reaping the benefits of kind of the faith that you all had in each other and at the forefront. Would you suggest this to other people? Because like getting married within a month of meeting somebody, it's unconventional, but it doesn't mean that it's wrong.
No,
right?
And I know for a fact there's other people out there in the world that have done stuff even sooner or longer. I would say, listen to God and see what God's telling you. I know there's like a little cliche that says Godspeed. I honestly think that's a thing. Because if you're constantly talking, communicating with God, whether you are, married to married to someone. Sorry, that was a really big
What was that?
That was
It was a what?
It was a wasp and bee like morphed together. It was pretty wild. It's gone now.
Don't
Praise
play.
the Lord.
Don't play with me.
No,
Because you can't do wasps.
You can't
No.
do it. Like, don't play with me, bro.
I will.
Yo, if
I'm
y'all
not
wanna
playing.
See me?
I'm not playing.
Lift this table and drag all of this
Please
equipment.
don't.
Like, bro,
Please don't.
really?
I don't do them either, so I will definitely let you know.
So calm down.
Right.
It's gone.
No,
It's
I'm
gone.
serious.
I know it's calm. It's calm down.
But like I would say definitely talk to God.
Talk to God about this wasp.
Well, okay, yes, that too.
It's gone.
Okay.
I think it flew out there.
It went to the abyss. You're fine.
You're right.
You're fine. But definitely talk to God and like.
I can't do wasps, bro. Sorry.
Um,
It is what it is.
But you got to talk to him and
Yeah.
make sure y'all are both talking to God and like act on what He's telling you.
Yeah.
Because if He is telling you continue to move slow and steady,
Mm-hmm.
then do it.
Mm-hmm.
But if God is telling you like, hey, she's the one, let's go.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Right? Because why are you questioning God?
Yeah. And
You know what I mean?
like for God, and that's one of the things I love about our podcast is like all of our conversations really reveal how God has been the X factor in so many different ways.
Yeah.
Right. And so like hearing about how God was really pivotal for you all's
Mhm.
relationship, like setting the foundation for your relationship in a really rapid amount of time is really cool. And like I said this in a couple episodes ago, like anybody that thinks about getting married, like you need to figure out if that plane has issues while it's still on the ground.
Correct.
Before it gets up in the air.
As best you can.
As best as you can. You all didn't give yourselves
We
that
did.
opportunity.
We said we like this plane.
Right. Hey.
See what happens.
You know what I'm saying? Which again, it's unconventional, but there's that risk versus reward piece again, right? And
Correct.
I think to your point, like you have to attribute it to God being in the middle of that
Has to.
and to help you all iron out some of the things that you had to iron out to make sure that your relationship could stand the test of time.
Oh yeah.
And it's doing that. So
yeah.
because
there's still moments. There were easily moments years 1 through 3 where I was like, yo,
Mm-hmm.
babe, we got to get this together.
That's what I was gonna ask.
And
Like, there had to be a
same
moment.
thing
Yeah.
with me.
How long before it started kicking in?
Yeah,
Oh,
because
man.
there's a point where you get, and Dad told me this too. Like once you get home from the honeymoon, you come home and unlock the door, and like y'all got to figure out bills. You got to figure out who's cooking. You know what I'm saying?
I would say it was
life sits
after.
in.
I think it really started hitting after we told our parents, which was like, because mind you, we didn't tell them right away. So we were married for about
the plot thickens.
okay, yeah. So we were married for about a month until we told our parents.
So were y'all staying together? I mean, how did they?
I eventually made my way to Hunt Lane with Kanika.
Ooh-wee.
To
meet her side of the family.
Well, no. So I eventually moved in with her,
y'all was
afterwards because we were married.
Yeah.
Right.
I didn't want to leave my duplex, but yet here we are. But I told my parents it was like the middle of April,
Mm-hmm.
whatever Fiesta weekend was, because I knew we had like a nice little 4-day weekend there in San Antonio. And I told my parents, and my dad was surprised, but like the only way to truly surprise my dad is you have to really put a lot of energy and excitement. And not saying that my marriage was exciting,
Mm-hmm.
but he didn't whoa, he didn't give me that. He was chilling
Mm-hmm.
and his little lazy boy, and he was just like, okay.
Really?
And then he said, he went, Ronaldo, are you sure? I said, yes. He said, Kanika, are you sure? I said, yes.
This is her dad saying this.
No, my
Oh,
dad.
your
his
dad.
dad.
Okay.
And so he was like, she was like, yep. He was like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And my mom is like the Yolanda Adams of the family. She's just happy-go-lucky. Man,
I love your mom.
She's great.
She's-
So she was just happy because she already somewhat knew Kanika
Mm-hmm.
from the time we met at the church and a little bit here and there. So she was already just happy. And my sister was just mad because she's like, now, if I would have done this,
Yeah.
and my dad was like, correct. You absolutely cannot do this.
Right.
Yeah.
Or else I'm going to kill you and him.
Yeah. That's
Now,
what I was gonna say. Like that father-daughter dynamic is different.
which is crazy.
That's how it went
I
with
don't
your
under-
dad.
Sure, it's
I don't
different.
understand
But,
why
like-
it has to be so different, but it's fine.
It's different.
It's
Hold on
fine.
1 second.
Am I
Fix this
tripping?
real quick.
Sorry, I got animated.
No, you good. You good,
Started
man.
moving.
Okay.
Now, when we flew, we took an emergency flight because, we got to get to her parents as soon as possible.
Mhm.
And so we took an emergency flight. We told her family, like, hey, I'm bringing, my boyfriend and we're going to come visit.
Time out.
And so, like,
Flag.
we're going
Flag
to
on
come
the
down.
play. Flag, bro. Hold on. So she told your parents. She
Told her brother.
her-
She told her brother first because we are going to surprise everybody.
but y'all were already married.
Correct.
And she said, I'm bringing my boyfriend.
Yeah, I mean, in that part, I'm not tripping because you got to play, like,
I promise I'm not
Yeah.
trying to stir nothing up. I'm just trying to make sure
but
I'm
at the
following
same time,
story.
we don't want to say, oh, by the way, I'm married over the phone.
Yeah.
Because if that happened to you, did you want to hear it over the phone?
No.
Exactly.
I wouldn't.
So
I agree.
we're gonna play the part until
Yeah.
we get there. So we fly down there last minute.
Yo, this is some movie type
And-
shit.
We fly down and I meet you remember Daryl.
Mm-hmm.
You remember Daryl.
It's hard to forget
You
Daryl.
can't forget my guy.
Love him to
love
death.
my Bill.
Mhm.
And we told him and his wife, Jillian, in the car. They were really excited.
Mhm.
And then he switched. It was like, oh, you haven't told Dad.
I can see him doing just
Yeah,
that
he
too.
was like, oh yeah, I can't wait to see
Yeah,
this.
And he's the older brother.
Yes,
Yeah.
he's the oldest. So we went to the house and dad was there, God rest his soul. And so we went up there, we told him like, hey, can he say, hey, this is my husband? And he said, what? He said, yeah, this is my husband. And for a moment, I really thought like, yeah, I don't think I'm gonna be able to leave Ohio
Mm.
because I'm legit nervous because I know how my dad would be with my sister.
Sure.
And so he looked at me and he pulled me to the side and I was like, oh, I'm about to go see that Glock. It's about to be all the popping. And he pulled me aside and, typical father, he's like, hey, love my daughter a lot.
Mhm.
And if you hurt her, I will kill you.
Yeah.
And I think that's what parents really want to know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Of course, they're shocked that you got married.
For sure.
But I think the bottom line is, do you love each other? Or are you going to take care of my daughter?
Yeah.
That's the thing. And if
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
sense that you are sincere, then I think things kind of just.
And I think he did.
Yeah.
Besides the slight hazing that I got afterwards. But like
Because you got off easy.
I really did.
You know
well,
that.
so the finish up the story. So he said, and I never forget it. He was like, "My daughter has not made a wrong decision in my eyes yet."
Mm-hmm.
So
Wow.
I know that if she did this quickly, she knows exactly what she's doing.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, "Damn right, she does."
Yeah.
Yeah. And so he was cool with that. And he was happy and excited. And then that's when phones start ringing. And the next thing you know, like cousins start pulling up randomly. Because Orville is probably like the size of Midlothian.
Mhm.
So everyone's now pulling up real quick. Hey, who are you?
Yeah.
What? Then they take me out to the, little Orville bar. And then everyone starts buying us drinks. They trying to get me like toasted.
I'm sure.
But
See what you really about.
Yeah.
Right. And I was almost there because they were having me mixing, and I was just like, "Yo, this is bananas." Luckily,
Yeah.
I'm not driving nowhere.
Yeah.
But it was good.
Was Daryl in the middle of this?
Of course he
I
was.
was gonna say.
I love my
few
Bill.
interactions I've had with Daryl, he be on that type of time.
Mhm.
Got nothing but love for you, brother.
Yeah, but he was definitely in the mix,
But he also will take care of you too at the same time.
and he did.
Yeah.
So ever since then, like every time I meet up with any of the Mosley family up there in Ohio or anywhere, it's
Mhm.
always love
Mm-hmm.
every single time.
That's
So
good.
it's great.
And so we talked about your marriage. We talked about just kind of sort of navigating this, right? Just to kind of sum up this part, what would you say to somebody else? Like if somebody is considering or thinking like, yo, I actually love my significant other. I could see us, spend the rest of our lives with each other, even though we've
Yeah.
only known each other for a relatively short amount of time, whatever that means. Like, if you could give us like a quick, maybe 3 to 4 points, maybe 5, of like what it was that checked off your list with Kanika? She was intelligent. Like, what else was it?
And
to
it had to been pretty quick.
Yeah,
for
like
you to,
like what else was
I
it?
think the pre-work to your list, if you will, is you have to also go back in your past relationships, the serious ones
Mhm.
at least, and know, okay, what did I do right in these relationships that can be transferable? And what did I do wrong? Notice I'm not talking about the other person. Like,
Mhm.
what did I do right? And what did I do wrong? And so I can not do it again. Like, okay, if I wasn't the best at remembering dates and she, kept getting on me about that, how can I make sure I'm better on that later?
So sounds like
You know,
self-evaluation.
You got to.
Yeah.
That's the pre-work to the steps.
Mhm.
Then I would say the first thing, I think the most important thing, and I know both of you can relate to this, is you need to be prepared to be selfless.
Mhm.
Because if you are not ready to give up something of yours consistently,
Mhm.
in that marriage,
consistent.
and then
Mhm.
eventually with kids,
Yep.
it is not going to work
Yep, that's good.
at all. So number one, you got to be prepared to be selfless.
Mhm.
Um,
What is number 2?
Yeah.
Number 1 was self-evaluate. Number 2
Yeah,
was,
right.
I got you.
Okay,
Good track.
understood.
Yeah.
Good.
So then the next thing to that is she on that same energy? Is she able to be selfless? Because what we can't have is just one person being selfless in the marriage. Like, both people are going to have to be comfortable giving up something, whether it's time, financials, physically. Like, you're gonna have to give it up, right? So is the other person also able to be selfless? And the third thing I would say is, like, I'm sure there's people that, have different religions and different things that they might follow, not follow, whatever. But whatever it is that you are religiously or spiritually connected to, make sure that is intertwined in it. Because you physically cannot do it alone. You can't. And I think, and I know, if God was not, sown into me from the times of, when I was younger and I went to vacation Bible school and all the other stuff all the way up until now, and vice versa with Kanika, like, we would not be in the situation we're in now.
Yeah.
So make sure that God is definitely in the mix of your relationship, no matter how short or long that relationship is, and make that an absolute deal breaker. So if y'all are not on the same spiritual level and God is not a part of your lives, both of you, then let's take a step back and reevaluate, right?
And then you have to have some type of agreement, even though you mentioned God. You got to have some type of
Correct.
Your God may be different than my God. I mean, where does the agreement come in at?
And I just thought about that. Like, if you met somebody and they're a different religion or they believe in something different than you, because now we're at the point of talking about, like, what we believe in.
Yeah.
How does that work? How does that navigate? Because I know there's African Americans that are Baptist, but then they marry someone that follows, like, Buddhism or something like that, and they're very different. So, like, I always wondered how that worked. It's none of my business, but, like, you have to make sure you're on the same page. So that's what I would say to the world.
That's good. And just really quickly, since we brought it up, my opinion on, cohabiting in space in a marriage where you and your significant other believe differently, I do think there has to be a certain set of boundaries, right? Because, like, what we're not going to do is, if I'm going to church on a Sunday, like, and you do your thing on a different day, on a Saturday or whatever it is, like, let's respect each other's boundaries and say, this is his day to go to church. Like, I'm gonna make sure he has what he needs, and and on my days that I go and practice whatever I practice, he's in return doing that same thing. Now, personally, I'm not necessarily an advocate for a couple believing and practicing two different religions. I feel like foundationally that can lead to, things being rocky at some point.
Agreed.
But if that's the choice that a couple makes, I do think that boundaries and communication is key for that. So
Correct.
You gotta have communication.
Yeah.
That Because eventually you're in a clash.
Mhm.
Somewhere down the road
Mm-hmm.
with these two different beliefs.
Correct.
You know,
Definitely.
and somebody's going to have to make a decision.
And I would add, it's different than just saying, oh, hey, I, follow this religion and I'm just telling you. No. Let's have the uncomfortable conversation of, hey, this is what I believe in and this is what I do. What do you think?
Mhm.
And be ready for them to be like, I don't rock with that.
Mhm.
Like, you have to be absolutely ready for that. And you have to be ready to say that
Yeah.
as well. Because I think sometimes in relationships, you'll get to moments where you're like, ooh, I don't want to make her mad. I don't want to make my little Bookie mad. And I don't want to say that. No, like,
You gotta
tell
say it.
her,
Right.
tell him, like, hey, I actually don't feel comfortable with that. Hey, I actually don't like this.
Mhm.
What can we do? Let's explore it.
And this has to be before you say I
You
do.
have
absolutely.
to.
Yeah,
It
you
should.
gotta
It
figure
should
that out.
be. It should be.
Yeah,
We
And
know,
if you don't, you have some,
Correct.
some
yeah.
issues.
We know that
Yeah.
some people move faster than others.
Okay.
So preferably this would be
All
I'm
right.
not gonna say who.
this would be
Wow.
ideal ahead of time.
Yeah,
But God works in mysterious
He
ways.
does.
So I know, and when we first got married, the first thing that we, had to get together was like, okay, where are we gonna live, right?
Mhm.
I had a great duplex over on like the northeast side of San Antonio.
Mhm.
It had everything a man, keyword man,
Mhm.
needs.
So wait, hold on. So we're talking. Let me just guess. When you say a man, like I'm thinking, what a man, the things that a man would need. I know my apartment had a TV, a microwave, and a couch, and a bed.
Yes, and
And that's
it
all I
was
needed.
it was spacious,
Yeah.
right?
Do you have like pictures on the wall? Did you actually like decorate it?
I
or-
did.
You did?
It
Oh,
actually
no.
looked. It
Shout out to
actually
you,
looked
bro.
like, but it was very like
Manly.
manly.
Yeah, for sure.
Stuff really wasn't matching. You know what I'm saying?
It was a house, not a home.
But it was a great duplex. I paid $700 a month for it with utilities included.
Sounds incredible.
You know what I'm saying? It was a 2-bedroom, 1.5 bath. Like it was just me.
Yeah.
Why did y'all move from there? Why did she move in?
So, mind you, I'm living on the northeast side
Uh-huh.
of San Antonio. She's on the west side, which is also like really close to her school.
Okay.
Her school that she was working at and her apartment were literally 4 minutes away. She was paying for a 1-bedroom apartment off of Hunt Lane. Her rent was probably like 8 something. And she was very comfortable there.
Mhm.
And so we are going back. I'm getting most of my stuff because I'm tired of I got the same little bit of things. I'm not driving back and forth. So I said, hey, I might as well just move everything. And she was like, she came over and we were looking at the spot and she was like, I don't like this. And I was like, but why? And she's like, I feel like this isn't ours, it's yours, and I feel like other people have been there. And I was like, oh, she's here.
Okay.
Here we go.
What does
Here
that
we
mean
go.
exactly?
So like my past, like
Yeah,
my ex at the
relationship.
time,
Oh,
who
okay.
was also, she was also there, which I was very open with.
Uh-huh.
So she was like, no, I don't want to live somewhere where someone else has been, which I'm not mad at. I agree.
So can I ask a question?
Please.
So like, was that not the case where, like at her place?
No, because her last relationship was not in San Antonio.
I see.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Okay,
Yes.
that's
So
fine. I just want to make sure.
nobody was in her
Nobody
place.
Right.
Nobody else
Okay,
in her
that's-
place.
Okay.
Just her.
There's the.
Okay.
It was just her.
There's the fact.
So I was like giving her the.
Oh, wait, hold on, sis. I promise I'm not trying to start nothing.
No,
okay, if
that's
you're watching
fine.
this, I'm just
It's
asking
fine.
questions.
She go bring it up regardless. It don't
I
matter.
don't need her texting me like, "What are you doing?"
Right. No. So I remember I'm giving her every excuse and rationale on why we should stay here. It's cheaper. We can stack money.
Yep.
Yes, you might have to drive a little bit more to work, but I mean the gas. It's
Yeah.
really great.
Yeah.
No, she was like, absolutely not.
She wasn't having it.
She was not having it. And then on top of that, as you know, both of our wives are interior designers. So she was like, yeah, this can't come, this can't come, this can't come, this can't come. Literally 90% of my apartment did not make it with me.
Same.
Well,
And I was just in distraught. I was pissed.
Yeah.
And so if you talking about reality TV, if I had a reality TV camera following me, it would have had a pouty face. I was pissed. I was pissed the whole night moving. I didn't want to move.
Yeah.
All I literally brought with me, I was able to save my bed, which I took to my parents' house. But nothing else made it.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I was
Just your bed.
just my bed and my clothes.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was it. And I was
So-
like,
Keep going.
oh. And so I was just like, okay, here we are.
Mm-hmm.
And then, mind you, she did come to a realization later. She was like, yeah, there's a lot of clothes in here. We don't have a lot of room. Because it wasn't a big 1-bedroom apartment off of Hunt Lane. So she's like, yeah, we probably should have maybe looked for a bigger apartment together or stayed there. And I was like,
It came back around.
it did. And then we eventually moved into a bigger apartment and it worked out.
Gotcha.
But that was a really good example of, okay, I don't necessarily agree, but I see what you're saying. Her points are super valid and I want her to feel validated. So I'm going to be selfless and I'm going to move everything out of this beautiful and cheap duplex.
Yeah.
And mind you, an HEB is right there. And you know how we feel about HEBs.
I feel you.
Like my HEB was in my backyard.
Yeah. One thing that you mentioned, bro, was that you want her to feel validated, right? Like you came into it with goodwill. You know what I'm saying? Like you wanted to make sure that her voice was heard. And like, that reminds me of something that somebody told both of us, that the definition of love is seeking the best for somebody else, even above yourself.
Correct.
Right. And so like caring about her enough to that point to where this may seem like something that's minute and nuanced, but like you wanting her to feel validated and want her voice to be heard coming into your space. Like, and eventually obviously y'all had to move out of your space, but like just for her to know that you were willing to listen, you wanted to take care of her, this, that, and the other, I'm sure that spoke dividends to where, again, going back to risk versus reward, she was able to see like this reward for my risk is actually
correct.
showing up.
And like I was just in the space and still in the space to where like this isn't going to be the deal breaker. Like I don't have to put all of my energy into this one moment, right? It's not going to, it's not going to be the end all be all.
Sure.
Do I like it at this moment? No. Do I agree with it? No. But, I think a woman's discernment and a wife's discernment is a thing.
It's important.
And so I knew her wife and woman discernment is showing right now at this moment. I just don't see it. So I said, okay, let's move. Let's move on it. And then so that's exactly what we did. And I mean, and she has shown that, and going back to like, hey, this is where you're better than me and other things. Like Kanika is great at a lot of things that like I had to also be comfortable with, letting her run point on. Like, for example, if
Which takes maturity, bro.
Man, let me tell you something.
Maturity.
Because if she would have met 21-year-old Ronaldo, it wouldn't have worked.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have worked at all. But there's a point in time, like, if anyone out here in the world needs help with their credit, hit up your girl. She has a side business. Francis and Associates. No, I'm just kidding. But like I will be transparent and say my credit when I first met Kanika was garbage, trash. And so when we finally started talking about like, okay, who's paying bills, who's doing this and that, and we had to lay everything out on the table. Here's our debt, here's our assets, here's everything we have. She was like, okay, cool. We got to get this up because we know if we're going to get a house eventually, like we both have to have really good credit. And I mean, she had my credit in the 700s in 2 years.
Wow.
That's dope.
Right. Yeah. And without doing anything extra, without like trying to get more money to like pay off stuff, it was a lot of consistency things. And I knew that she was better than that than me. So I was like, you are now the CFO of the family.
Yeah.
Right. And we have a deal like, okay, if you spend over X amount of money, that is the only time where we have to consult about it. Do I still have access to everything? Can I see everything? Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
But she's running everything.
So let's talk about this and let's time out because this mic is about to drive me insane.
Yeah, I didn't want to stop in the middle of
Is that why you said time out, but then we kept talking?
Yeah.
I understand. Because I was like, we timed out, but you wanted me to keep going.
You're in the middle of making a statement. Okay, so all right, so we'll pick it up from here. So what I do want to do is I want to focus a little bit on because I love how you are showing what Kanika was able to bring to the table in y'all's relationship,
Yeah.
right? But and for those that don't know, you've also done the same, right? Like,
Yeah.
and I want to talk about this as delicately as we can. Whenever Kanika lost her father,
Oh yeah.
right, that was a really difficult time, I'm sure. Because based off of what I've heard, like he was a great dad to her,
He
from what I
was.
understand,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I want you to talk a little because you've told me about it before, but I want you to talk a little bit about how you showed up and was there for her during all of that stuff because like her family is in Ohio, totally different state. We're in
Correct.
Texas. So like how were you able to step up to the plate and make sure that everything was smooth, the best that you could make it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
One thing I did was, I learned is that me and my wife, whenever we are dealt with grief, um, we're even more tunnel vision.
Mm-hmm.
So Kanika's first response once we knew that he was in the hospital and it wasn't very, very good, she was like, oh, I'm about to fly up to Ohio every other weekend and I need to be there. And I said, we can do that. But also let's look at the long term. That's really expensive when it comes to flights, right? And you also have to get a hotel. We're gonna have to get a rental car. There's all these other little X factors that essentially when it comes down to like spending time with family and not spending time with them, like it doesn't matter. Like we'll do what we have to do.
Yeah.
But I want her to look at the grand scheme of things because she is the CFO of the family, right? So she was like, okay, that makes sense. But I had to lay it out for her and then let her make the decision. Because this was my first time seeing her in grief.
Sure.
So I didn't even know like how she was going to react, how she was going to move. So I had to be very, very flexible. I had to be very, very understanding. And I had to make sure that her settings were set up for her. I know one thing I did when she went to Ohio the weekend before he passed is I pulled her whole leadership team at Edgecliff to a meeting. And I was like, hey, look, here's what's happening. I don't know what she shared. I'm sharing it with y'all because I know she trusts y'all. But when she comes back, I don't know how she's going to act and how she's going to be. And obviously you guys don't know. So here's what I need you to do. And I laid out everything I needed them to do to make sure that they were good. Because what I knew is that Kanika wants normalcy. She's going to try to make sure everything's normal at the same time, even though she's like battling on the inside. So her lead team, they're super compassionate. They're loving. They're gonna want to have, what is that?
I'm sorry, for context, she's a principal as well.
She-
just for those that
She's
don't.
actually a VP now.
No, you're right. Yeah, she got this promotion. Yeah, you're right.
She's
My
actually
bad.
a VP now,
Let me
but
put
she's
some respect on her name.
right. But she, like her and her lead team, what is it called? I don't know of a really good Black movie without me saying something that is wrong, but like her and her lead team have just a really good sisterhood and one other guy connection, right? So they're gonna want to have sisterhood moments with her, and she's not ready for that, or she wasn't ready for that in that moment.
Yeah,
so I told them like, if she starts opening up, be ready to listen,
sure,
and be whatever she needs in that moment. If she does not open up, do a quick check in and you keep it pushing, because she doesn't want people to keep nagging on her or not nagging, but just keep asking questions. So I had to like constantly check the scenes. Like, okay, are we going to this little outing? Okay, can I help create the scene or do I not? Do I need to be ready to go because she's not feeling it? I had to like constantly get those things in my mind because I knew that she could possibly go any one of these routes. That's the type of planner I am, I guess. I'm the type of guy that like I need to know every outcome before it happens so I can quickly pivot and adjust. And that's what I did.
Aside from getting married.
Aside from getting married.
Sorry, I just want to make sure we brought that back up.
Man, your podcast should be called Rodney and Slugs. That's what it should be.
Well, I just want to make sure we draw those connections, bring it back full circle.
But
Please
now that I've
continue.
learned, can I get the torch, please? But now that I've learned that, like, that's what I need to do for her.
Yeah.
Because it was really, really hard. And that's something that she learned when she even went to therapy is, like she will try to mask her grief and her emotions into work. Because work is so, as you know, working with ideas, it's very demanding, and it takes a lot of time, energy, and then there'll be days literally when she's done from work, she's like, yo, I'm just gonna go lay down. I'm gonna let you go lay down. And I'll handle the kids, I'll handle everything else, if minimal questions. Because I just wanted to make sure that I created the space for her to be.
Sure.
But that took me learning and being observant and like seeing how she was.
Took experience.
Correct. And it was even tough because he passed and it was also birthday month. And so like there's things that we want to celebrate.
His birthday or her birthday or?
Both, because his birthday is in January as well.
Oh, wow. Yeah. And your birthday too, all at the same time.
All the same.
Yeah.
Hers, mine, Daryl's,
her brother,
and her father, all are in January.
Wow.
All of them. Wow. So yeah, it was, I just had to be ready, right? And then sooner or later she came around, and then that's when she wanted to talk more.
So if you could, it sounds like based off of what you're saying is the way that you were able to show up for her is being proactive rather than reactive in this instance. That's dope.
And you still had to give a giving of yourself.
Yeah.
That was selflessness.
Yeah, had to, because at the end of the day, the kids still had to be fed, had to be attended to. I still had to go to work.
Correct.
Like there was stuff that I had to do as well. And I want to say I was also in pursuing of being a member of Alpha Alpha during that time as well. Which that's a whole nother thing. So like I had to.
No, you weren't.
I believe
This was after, bro.
No. I want to say it was during, probably close to the end. I want to say it was during.
I wasn't there.
Yeah, we know.
So I can't.
I don't know. You know better than me. I don't know why I said that. You know better than me, but go for it.
Yeah, I want to say it was. Yeah, I want to say it was like the year, like beginning of 22.
Sure, I get that. Yeah.
But yeah, it just took a lot of like. I had to create the space. I had to be proactive.
Yeah, definitely.
And then what was beautiful, hindsight, sort of, is she was able to do the same thing for me, like when my dad passed.
Yeah.
Because I definitely, once I got the call, I was like in shock. I think I was getting ready to go do something. And we were getting dressed. And I remember my sister called me and you know me, I don't cry. So I was holding it together in front of Kanika, and then that's when I stepped outside, and I think that's when I called you.
Yeah.
I was like in the middle of crying, but I was like, no, I can't let RJ hear me crying. So I was trying to like pull it together type thing. And then I think that next day is when I flew out to Lubbock to go figure out everything. Yeah. So but she was able to do that because she knew like, okay, this is Ronaldo's first like inside the family death.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how he's going to react. He's obviously going to have to go do some things, and she was able to do that for me as well.
Yeah, so, when your dad passed, first of all, there's a lot of facets to that.
Yeah.
A lot of emotions, a lot of things that goes on when you lose a parent.
Yeah.
It's not an easy thing.
No.
In your case, what was your relationship with your dad like?
We were a work in progress. Yeah. I remember vividly the Thursday before I found out that he passed, I was ironically doing another podcast. And we were talking about how the life that he provided and the situations that he created for me made me who I am when it comes to like education and educational leadership. And I
know you. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but you said you created that environment. So, what was it about your dad? Because you mentioned that up front here.
Yes.
About how he.
Oh yeah.
What was it like in that respect?
My dad was, Glenn, with all due respect, love and respect. He was an asshole, right? Like he definitely put me in situations that were in my mind, as a young adult going into an adulthood or as a teenager, were damn near impossible in my mind. And I thought they were unfair, and I thought that, there was, sibling favoritism. And so I thought like, I always thought I wasn't good enough, or I always had to like feel like that I had to prove myself even more because of what he did. When in reality, as I've learned as I got older and then talking to other people, like, that I knew that he knew as well, it wasn't that he was being an asshole. He was actually creating almost life simulations or and situations to help prepare me mentally and emotionally for life as a young man.
Well, some young men, when they go through that situation, and I think you said you had to kind of look at yourself, just feeling not up to par.
Yeah.
Okay, so how did you deal with you at that time? You can look back now, have 20/20 hindsight.
For sure.
But at that moment, at that space of your life, how did you deal with feeling that you let your dad down?
Like, at that time, the time being like of young manhood or like teenage me.
That's very delicate there.
It was weird because there would be times where I'm like, dang, like I let my dad down, I'm never gonna be good enough. But also because of the work that he did, like in elementary and middle school, a little bit of high school, he always taught me like you take the feedback, you have 24 hours to be in your feelings, emotions, whatever you're feeling. And because the moment you stay in those emotions and feelings, you're wasting time when you could easily turn around the feedback and try to get better at whatever it is. So I always had a moment where like, man, I can't stand him, get on my nerves. Then it would turn to like, dang, I'm not good enough. And then, okay, 24 hours, it was like a switch. And I said, okay, now I got to do it again. I'm going to do it better. And I would do it better. At first it was, I'm going to do it better because I want him to see me. And I want to be seen. And I'm looking for that, like, oh, good job. Or, oh man, I'm so proud of you. I'm looking for that.
Did you get it?
And then I would sometimes.
Yeah.
But I got it a lot more as I had his grandchildren and as I got older. But in that moment, it was never, oh, hey, I'm proud of you, good job. It was like, hey, good job, here's what you need to fix next.
Okay.
And it was like constant feedback.
Gotcha.
All the time. And I think that's also why our relationship was really like weird back in my early 20s and late teenage years. It's because it's like, dang, like why didn't I just get a straight up, hey, I'm proud of you?
Yeah.
It was always something else, right? And I think that's also because he wanted me to like always be continuously growing and do like a self-growth situation, with him knowing that he cares at the same time. I didn't perceive it that way.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, did you really think that he cared?
Not until I had Jalil, and then like
Who's your firstborn?
Who was my firstborn son, right? And then I had Jalil, and then I started doing a little bit of some of the things that he did, but I knew why I was doing it with Jalil, and I was like, I see why now.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it made more sense. And
I don't mean to cut you off, bro, but that's powerful what you just said. Like the way that your father raised you, you started doing the same thing with your son.
Some of the mannerisms and stuff,
right?
yeah.
And like we always hear, like, at least I've always heard that you don't really understand or really fully appreciate your parents until you have kids of your own, right? And so then things start to click a little bit more. And I just think that that's really important to state and to overstate that those cycles of fatherhood
it's a thing.
It is a thing, and it can be perpetual unless you make a choice at some point to do things different.
Okay, so here you are. I mean, you adult. An adult. You have your first child. Did you ever hold resentment against him, or if you did, how did you get over it? Even though he gave you he taught you the 24-hour thing, but yet there had been times maybe you was like,
I need more time.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
so how you navigate through that, man? I
That's
mean,
a good question.
that being the age you were now, but now you're an adult.
Yeah.
But you look back, do you understand why he did that?
I
Where he
think-
came from? Or
I think what's crazy enough is my aha moment and I let go of the resentment was when I was 25.
And what happened? What caused what?
And
caused
so because I remember driving, I was in San Antonio. I vividly remember this too. I was driving to praise team practice and I was on the phone with somebody, I don't remember. And I was running through like adult stuff that I had to do like that weekend. Cause I think it was like on a Thursday or something. And I was like, yep, I got to do this. Because if I don't do this, like I was talking about the repercussions of me not being responsible and doing the things that, oh, I can't actually go out because I actually got to save this money for this. Because if I don't do this, I got to do this. Like I was just talking it out loud. And then there was a moment when I just like stopped and I was just like, I get it. Like I see why he has done this to me. Because I remember in the conversation, I was like, yeah, because I can see my dad now. If I don't do this, he's gonna have my head, right? And it's something as simple as like, if I don't clean my own kitchen, ain't nobody else in my house holding me accountable for my kitchen. But I knew because of I'm exaggerating, but the torment that he put me through for not cleaning the kitchen the right way and how I would have another week of doing the dishes if I left this bottle right here on this counter and I would throw a fit, all of that. But I had to make sure I did everything in decent order and he started that. And then I remember I called him after that phone call and I was like, hey, like, I get it. And he was like, well, what do you get? And I was like, well, here's what I told him the whole conversation.
What are you talking about?
Right. But I told him, and in typical Glenn fashion, he was like, good. But did you remember this? And did you remember this? And I was just
I'll start back over.
But I was just like, okay, all right.
That was a trigger point.
I gotta get off the phone. But I remember that. And that's when I was just like, oh, okay. It makes sense.
But you said something, bro, that was so good. You said you remembered what he did to you, right? Like in the way that he raised you and this, that, and the other.
Correct.
But then through experience, we get a chance to see that the things that we think are done to us from our parents are the things that our parents did for us.
Correct.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Correct.
That those words, the switching of those words matters dramatically. But those words don't switch until time progresses.
And,
you know
and he was also, to add, he was also really good at situational good cop, bad cop. So like my cousins, Roshard and Cedric, they are like my version of role models, right? So there was a lot of times where he would call them and say, hey, Ronaldo's going through A, B, C. So y'all need to check up on him, make sure that he's good, go visit him. Here's what's happening, here's the situation, here's how you can support.
Your dad would tell him?
Yes, because, and then he would also say, and I know this because we talked about it, on the flip side, he would say, because this is what I'm gonna do on the flip side as the bad cop to help like push through, especially like when it came to school, or, you know, like if I'm just being a knucklehead at the time, right? So he would do that with my cousins and other family members and other people that I knew, that we all knew. And I would always wonder, I was like, yo, like, my cousin Brian hit me up real random, right? And like, what is that about? But in hindsight, it was my dad orchestrating in the background and telling him like, hey, I'm about to lay into him. You might want to be ready.
So he knew what you were probably going through.
Correct. But he also knew I was part of this generational wave. I ain't gonna speak for RJ, but I'm very sure it was very similar. Very, very sure. That like,
Don't get me in trouble, bro.
I'm gonna tell it.
Hey, come on, man.
I'm gonna tell it. If my dad told me don't touch that stove, it's hot, I'm like, Dad, you're full of shit. I don't believe you.
That wasn't me, Daddy.
No, that was your sister, but it was.
Yeah, that wasn't me.
Right.
That was not me.
Yeah. But then like for example, if you would have came and said, hey, Ronaldo, do not touch this stove. It's hot. Say the exact same thing my dad said verbatim. I would have been like, you know what?
Did you know this stove?
It actually is hot.
Yeah.
I shouldn't touch that.
Mm.
He knew that other people that I built relationships with were a thing.
Yeah.
And I was thriving off of that connection because I already knew how our relationship was. So he used that to his advantage, and he would tell those other people that to help me. And I think that's why his passing was like really hard for me too, because like after I found out that, I was just like, dang, like he really was looking out in a really weird way. And so it put another level of like thankfulness inside of me in a way. So, and I think that's why, like, even with Jalil and Keon and Seven, like, community is very important to
For
me.
sure. Yeah. For sure.
Very, very important. That's why, like, if that now, unless our kids are just acting up, if Trip and them are like, oh, hey, let's do a sleepover, let's go hang out, like, there's very few times that we've said no.
Yeah.
Right? Because I want them to have that community, because I think that's very important to where he sees other people and he's with other families and
so it sounds like
doing all that.
It sounds like before your father passed, that you all's relationship was getting better.
I think, first of all,
when I'm excuse me, before getting better, as far as was he opening up to you why he did what he did, or you opening up to him the way you felt,
It was more me opening up to him, because I also think that's where I get my stubbornness from, because he ain't gonna own up to none of that. He ain't gonna do it.
Are you stubborn?
No. No. I'm gonna say it for the cameras.
Somebody's looking at me like
I'm gonna say it for the cameras. I ain't stubborn. I just need clear facts before I move.
I'm just asking.
I just need clear facts. I don't move until I got the facts. But anyways, hey man. But like I know that's where I get my stubbornness from. And so
no, so you admit it. He admits it that he was stubborn.
I am.
Yeah. Because he knows it's the truth.
Yeah.
He said he's about the facts.
Yeah.
And that's a fact.
And that is a fact.
Please continue.
Proceed, sir.
Yeah. So y'all done threw me off. But I think that I know, because he wouldn't open up to that. So it was more me saying like, oh, hey, I understand this now. Thank you. But he would never fully admit it, almost like on some sensei type stuff. Like, young grasshopper, you understand. But he wouldn't fully give me the affirmation. Gotcha. Which goes back to what RJ said earlier. It's like, okay, now I'm trying to raise my son like my dad did, but I'm also trying to do it better. Yeah. So like, I'm definitely trying to be on some sensei stuff with Jalil and Keon. Seven, it's the girl syndrome. I'm still trying to build up that muscle.
I feel you. Once you figured out, let me know. Yeah.
But because Seven almost came with me. Let me tell you, she was right at that door. She could not.
He almost buckled.
Almost did.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm trying to give Jalil more of the why and the understanding of like, hey, you're actually not going to play your iPad for this amount of time. And here's why. You're actually going to do wall sits instead of have iPad time. And here's why, because we're going to have a different level of thinking, all this other stuff, right? Yeah. Like I try to give him the why first, because I didn't get the why. I just got, hey, you're grounded. Hey, this bottle is on the counter. That's not it. And I'm just like, brother, help me, you know? So I try to do that so I can be just as good as my dad, if not better.
Yeah. Can I ask a question?
No, I'm just kidding.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I know that you're driving it, but I do think it'd be good to, if you have any of the information, explore the relationship between your dad and your grandfather to maybe see like.
Yeah. And so what the aha moment as well is, from what I know, my grandfather was the same way to my dad as my dad was to
you.
Probably even more worse, because that was, in
that generation. Yeah.
It was probably a lot worse. And so, and my dad was the youngest of 6 as well. And there was a, forgive my family, I'm telling a lot of age business, but there's a gap between my Aunt Rose and my dad. So he got it a lot worse than the rest of the siblings,
Mhm.
because a lot of the siblings were either older in high school or about to already graduated, where he was younger.
Okay.
So he got it a lot worse.
Yeah.
And this is also how I know grandchildren change things. 'Cause I remember how my grandfather treated me. And I mean, we got pancakes every day, and
Yeah.
we got to do all these things at the Carrie Ann, and him and my grandma loved on us heavy.
Yeah.
The Carrie Ann meaning
Their house,
right.
where they live in Giddings, right?
I know, but I just want
Right,
you to say that people
understand. Yeah. So like they loved on me and my sister heavy. And you also see that with my dad, when he was alive with the grandkids. I mean, oh my gosh, they couldn't do any wrong.
Mm.
Yeah.
And I said, boy, if you don't put that boy to bed,
Yeah.
well, no, we're just gonna watch, because my dad's in the cars, and we're just gonna watch this car show together. I'm like, he doesn't even know.
Mm.
But they would sit up and watch car shows,
Mhm.
and so you could tell. But to answer your question, it's a very parallel, like, similarity between how my grandfather treated him to how he treated me.
How did you know how your grandfather treated your father?
Yeah,
I knew that because I would remember either my dad telling me a few stories, and I'll be like, well, that sounds familiar. Or I would be like,
You wanted to say something?
I did, but I also knew my place.
Yeah, he was a little scared.
I was a little. I'm just gonna keep this up here.
Yeah.
Or like I would have conversations like with my aunts or with my uncles, and they would tell me, like, oh yeah, I know you're going through this right now, but your dad also did. And I would be like, what?
That goes back to what you're talking about with community.
Yep.
Right? Community is important.
For sure. So that's kind of how I knew. And then, of course, as I spent time with my grandfather and my grandmother, I could like piece everything together. And I would be like, oh yeah, I see where you get the little sarcasm from, because Pops just put you in place right here. But I'm just gonna sit back and just chill. You know what I mean?
So when your dad passed, because your relationship was getting better, okay, what was happening here with you?
I think
in that time,
as our relationship was getting better, I think there was a acceptance, if you will, from him, saying like, all right, my son's now an adult. I've done my job. I've done all I can do. Sure, I can give him little tidbits here and there, but like, whatever, I've done my job. Whatever is done now is what's done. So now it was I don't have to be a, hard ass all the time. Right. I also think there was moments that him and my mom went through that humbled him as well as he got older, that helped like make him realize like, oh snap, like I should actually switch it up a little bit. And it opened the door and created spaces for us to have more authentic conversations and times together,
It's something about life, when you, so I tell people, my mama used to tell me all the time, because my dad was gone, so she had to parent us, and she would always tell us keep living. That was her favorite words. My mom wasn't a cusser, she wasn't a fusser.
Yeah.
But she was calm, but she looked at us very stern in her eyes and said, keep living.
It's crazy because you tell us the same thing.
Yeah.
Like you've said that I don't know how many times it was growing up.
Yeah. Because life teaches you.
Yeah.
When you're at a certain point in your life where you feel like you not receiving what I'm saying, or child is not receiving what the parent is saying, well, the parent is so we'll just keep living. So I mean, so when you find out your dad passed, and you begin to find out, you begin to look back, and see the good things that you are the way you are right now, even though you didn't know some of the bad things too. But when you look back at it now, you're really thankful.
Very thankful, actually,
that he was the way that he was, even though he may have been wrong in your eyes in certain areas.
For sure.
Overall, he was a good dad, would you say?
I would say he was a great dad.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, when I think back is, did I have everything I needed at that moment?
Mm-hmm.
I can actually say that my life progressively got, as far as like, I guess, needs and wants.
Yeah.
My life progressively got better. He is the one person that I can vividly remember and see starting from the not necessarily the bottom, but working up. He used to be a regular associate at Sherwin-Williams. And he worked his way all the way up to retiring from Sherwin-Williams as a financial advisor for Sherwin-Williams and won awards and done all these things, right? So where like I remember seeing him every promotion. I remember seeing every moment of that progression, right? And it was always for the betterment of the family.
Yeah.
Every single time. So I can always say that he did provide, he created, he did what he needed to do. I remember because I was in marching band, we had a state competition.
I know you're in marching band.
I am.
What'd you play?
I was on the drumline captain to be exact. Thank you.
I did not know that. I was in marching band too. I know
marching band too.
I remember you telling me that. You played the trumpet, right?
No, I played baritone.
So I remember we were about to move to Rowlett, and I didn't want to move because I was I was in Rowlett about to move to San Antonio, and I didn't want to move because I was already a sophomore. I was established. I had all these things going for me, and it was marching band. We went to state, which was in San Antonio, and him, my sister, and my mother drove. How he got from Rowlett to San Antonio in 2.5 hours, I don't know, and I'm not going to ask questions. But he was there to see me walk on the field and perform.
That's great,
right? I remember that, and I remember seeing them after I was done. Afterwards, because my mom was vividly upset that they made it to San Antonio in 2.5 hours.
You must have been driving like a bat.
Yes,
for real.
But I remember him. He did that. And I know he did that for me.
Yeah.
And so I remember there were a lot of times in life where he showed up.
Yeah.
And he showed up big.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. You finished?
Yeah.
I mean, in light of your relationship with your dad and what you went through, you look back and you see, how your life has benefited
for sure
from him instilling things in you and the way he treated you, whatever. So now you are a daddy,
man.
Okay,
of 3 of them things. 3 of them things.
I'm sorry. So calling things. Okay, so
3 of them. 3 beautiful things.
That's what they are. Beautiful things. Yes.
Yes.
I agree with that.
So your oldest son, and I know sometimes you said you treated him like your dad treated you. Sometimes you correct
a little bit.
So how does he feel toward you as a whole?
Jalil is. It's very similar, actually. Jalil's very much like me back when I was going, at least from what I remember. He is very much like me to where he doesn't want to disappoint. He always wants to be great in his daddy's eye. Now, Jalil, personality-wise, is still very different from me.
Is it like his mom's personality?
No. Okay. I would say Jalil has my spirit and his he's very outgoing. But multiply that times like 50. That's Jalil. And he's very he's super energetic.
Yeah.
Love my nephew.
He's super energetic. But the minute you catch him in doing a mistake or doing something wrong and you let him know like, hey, what you did was wrong, it's gonna eat him up. Eat him up. And I mean, he wants the reassurance. Like, even if he gets in trouble, he's gonna be like, Daddy, can I have a hug? Yeah. I love you. I love you too, but you still gonna get this butt whooping.
Yeah.
So, example of Jalil, wanted to make sure like he is still accepted even after wrongs. There was a time Jalil, I want to say he had a sleepover at the Johnson Palace.
Palace is crazy.
And
more like a cottage, but
I don't know. And so Jalil was being Jalil, and he actually broke a part of the bunk bed. And my link was furious. He was
furious is strong, bro.
He was not happy. He was not happy.
I wasn't happy.
He was not happy about it at all. Him or Alicia were not happy. And so I get there to pick him up, and Jalil is sitting at the table by himself, which he should have. And he just looks at me
he was defeated.
He was distraught.
Yeah.
He didn't know what to think. And he's looking at me with these big old puppy dog eyes like, I am just so sorry. And mind you, I don't even know what really happened at that moment. I just got there and I just see his face, and then I go look at the bed.
You were more upset than we were.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. So I remember talking with Jalil, and he kept asking, like, Daddy, are you mad? Are you upset? Hell yes, I'm upset. I probably, like you said, I'm probably more upset than they are. But he kept asking for that reassurance. Like, even though I made the mistake, do you still like love me? Do you still? You could tell like he kept needing that.
Yeah.
He was like, I'm ready to move on. But sometimes he would move on a little bit too quick for me. But he needed to know like, are we good? And then even with RJ, hey, are we?
Yeah.
Can I still come back? Because RJ gave it to him like, no, you ain't coming back over here ever. And I played along because I would have done the same thing.
Well, but hold on.
I would have done the exact same thing.
No, I mentioned that because he wasn't like real apologetic, but I needed to like settle in that.
What he did.
Love your nephew, but you costed me money.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
It was crazy. So, but he does that. He needs to know, like, even if I mess up, are you still right? And I necessarily, when I was like that with my father, I felt the same way, but I wasn't like active with the like, oh, do you still love me? I was just like holding it in, and I'll be like, all right, I see you. Hope you still feel this way. Hope this, hope that. And I would just keep it pushing. Jalil is, until he gets an answer, he gonna make sure So, and there'll be times even just prove a point where I wouldn't answer him because I need him to like fully understand like how angry or how serious the moment is. So but also I don't want to repeat that cycle because I think for me that necessarily wasn't healthy. Like I think you should know, like, yes, you're gonna make mistakes. And there's going to be moments that you mess up, but I do still love you. And I'm going to show you, and you're going to hear it from me that I do. So that way it's safe. You're safe to make mistakes. Like, I think like I don't necessarily long for the day, but I want a big mistake to happen to Jalil, like when he's a teenager, but he feels comfortable enough calling me and say, yo, Daddy, like I really messed up.
Those moments that seem like they're really nice. They are insignificant, but they are very weighty at the moment for your son to hear you say, you know, I love you in spite of your mistakes. That's extremely important because it builds him up. And then it also gives him the freedom to know that in the future he can come to you, as you just said.
Right.
Yeah. He wanted to be able to come to you.
Correct.
But if you say, no, you're sorry, so and so and so,
it's going to continue to push him back.
Absolutely.
And, you know, next thing you know, I got to go being a detective to figure out just even what's going on.
But you mentioned something, bro. Like, you mentioned the comparison between you and Jalil, your son, about how you, like, after you made a mistake, you weren't necessarily checking to see if you and your dad were still good. But with Jalil, he was checking to make sure that you and him were still good. Like, that comparison to me is interesting because it shows, for one, like, fathers and their sons are different. There may be similarities, but there are differences. And it's up to the father to make sure that he's paying attention to that, right?
Correct. I had
like,
to.
You know what I mean? Like, just because we as a dad were raised a certain way and we have a son doesn't mean they're going to be identical to us. The signs of a mature father is that he's going to be intuitive to the personality traits of his son and give him what he needs, right? So like, I want to commend you for like noticing that and leaning into that rather than noticing it and being like, well, nah, like he needs to, you know what I mean? Like forcing him to fit a mold that is not for him.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
That,
That's major, bro. I want to give you
It's
flowers
very
on that.
major, yeah.
So, bro, first of all, I want to say thank you for being as open and transparent as you have been.
For sure, man.
One thing I do want to mention, I'll say it like this, is that there's no such thing as a perfect father. Right? I think we can all agree to that.
Yeah.
But one thing I appreciate about your dad, based off of what you told us, was that he was a behind the scenes dad, right? And I love that because while you're in the middle of it, you don't understand what he's doing, but he's working on the back end.
Understand or no.
Right.
Yeah.
And like, as I'm saying this, I automatically draw a parallel to our Heavenly Father, whereas we may not understand what he's doing
for sure
in the middle of it, but meanwhile, he's trying to teach us something. And I just think that is so cool that that's the approach that your dad took. But because now, as you're in, obviously, like your father's not here with us today, but you're able to talk about him in a manner that a lot of guys would not be able to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you're able to give him his flowers and be like, Dad, I didn't understand it at the time, but I appreciate it. You know what I'm saying?
He's not bitter.
Yeah.
Nah.
For sure.
I mean,
for sure.
That's a good sign of maturity.
Definitely.
Thank you.
You're not bitter at him. Even though you didn't agree with everything that he did or said. But when you look back at it, you say you come to the conclusion of saying, had my dad not been the dad that he was, I wouldn't be what you.
There's a strong possibility that if my dad, thinking of time variance, didn't do the things at the moments that he did things, I probably wouldn't be sitting at this table.
Yeah.
We would not have met at all, right? Like, there's a good chance that I could have met Kanika and we could have been in Houston instead of coming up here, right? Like, or I could have not met Kanika at all. I do think there is a level of like forgiveness that I had to learn to give and do at the same time. Because ultimately that's how I'm able to be right here where I am now with our relationship, is because as I matured, I forgave because I understood. Like, this is why he did it. Okay, I forgive you. And then I was able to move on.
The thing that's so ironic is, if I use that word, we don't have a choice of who our parents are going to be.
We don't.
And I think it's something about the magnitude of God, that we're here for a purpose. And we don't really know what that purpose is until it's actually walking it. But God knew the type of parent. I know that can be real, because some people don't.
So you open Pandora's box there.
I know, we have to for another time, but then we just take you. Okay, so but you don't know. God only knows what he is going to bring you into, and have brought you into.
Correct.
And he knew that you were going to need that type of parent to bring you into what you are now, because you have other children.
That's right.
That you're mentoring.
Yeah. I would even say other children and just now like situations.
Yeah.
Like there's many times where, even at work, first year as a principal, my first year, it's hard. And I know for a fact there's many times where I'm like, all right, Dad, like, what would you tell me in this situation? Or I feel like, oh, this is something my dad would say or do. You know what I mean? So
isn't it crazy how you feel your dad like coming through you in certain situations?
No, for real. And that's why even when he passed, I took the time that I did, because I knew if I went back into work, which I naturally wanted to do, like what Kanika did. I wanted to get back into work. I wanted to feel normal. But I knew if I went back too soon, I would get triggered because of the state of my school at the time and what I knew I had to do. I knew I would get triggered because there would be a lot of Glennisms, if you will, that would show up. And I wasn't ready to receive that. Not because I couldn't face them and do them, but it would remind me of him, and then I get emotional. Next thing you know, I'm crying in front of people, which y'all know I don't like doing, and it would have been a whole thing.
Yeah, I know that there are, people that are watching this, and I think you said something that was very important about you forgave your dad, because not only we hear this all the time, forgiveness is not necessarily for the other person, it's really for yourself. And had you not gotten to the point in your life that you in your heart, not just meant in your heart, forgave your dad, because you saw, and correct me if I'm wrong, you saw the umbrella of the whole thing.
I did.
The whole, and not just certain things, but you see the whole thing now.
And the beauty of it is, it's, almost like the butterfly effect. You're not going to really notice what it's going to be when you're in the caterpillar stage or the cocoon stage, right? I'm not going to know fully about fatherhood when I just married Kanika and I have no kids, or I'm just an educator. I fully was able to forgive him and start to build a relationship after I've had 3 kids.
Did you want to forgive him?
I did, but I think at the time I was still because I was still understanding, still processing. I was slow to forgive because I was still trying to put everything together and put together the why. But then as I had kids and I understood, and then I would be able to reflect back and put the pieces that he did and what I went through and what I'm doing with my kids. I put it all together. I'll be like, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. So at the same time, I was like, okay, cool. I've learned that you have to create community. You have to, and what I've learned is you have to be able to provide the why, and which my father also wasn't. You're not going to be perfect. You're going to make mistakes, whether it's big or small. And I was able to see those big and small mistakes with him. And when you make those mistakes, it doesn't take away the fact that you're a human. They happen. And so I was like, oh wow, so you can still be all of this, and still be effective and still be loved and still be great. So that's when I realized okay, I feel better in my heart and mentally, like you were saying, to forgive. And it made it easier.
So let me ask you this, bro, as we kind of bring this to a close. One thing I know the way this is going to sound, this is not my intention, but I do want to ask if you'd be willing. Obviously, your dad is no longer here with us. We know that, but we've been talking about him for at least an hour, right? Yeah. And he's had a really, really great influence on your life.
Yeah.
And it sounds like he's been, we see now, as you were growing up, y'all's relationship was a little rocky, but like you said, it was a progress, right? It was,
for sure.
It was something that was being made. Seeing where you are now, if you had the opportunity to say something to your pops.
He trying to get the tear down.
I'm not. That's what I said. That's not what I'm trying to do. But I do think that it's.
Oh,
I think that'd be interesting.
What would you say to him?
What would you say to that? Look at this camera right here.
This one right here?
Yeah, right here.
Man.
What would you say to Glenn Francis?
I would say, hey man, I hope that you are extremely proud. I know that the Francis legacy is living on. And I would also say thank you. I would say thank you for all the bullshit. But also just all the moments that you either created, you orchestrated, or you like just set up to make me who I am today. Because I would not be sitting here in the position that I am in life, spiritually, without you. So I'm very appreciative of that. And I hope you're beating everybody in heaven up in dominoes, because I know that's what you're doing. I know it. I know it for a fact. And Merry Christmas, because it's past Christmas time. That's what I would say.
For sure. Yeah. Appreciate that, Link.
Yeah, man. Thank you for setting the scene, man.
Yeah.
Of course.
Sometimes that's not difficult, but
well, I think
it's serious.
It's serious, but it's good, and like I appreciate RJ for like putting me in that space, because RJ also knows that like that kind of emotional interaction specifically with my dad is not something that has happened a lot. So that's something that needs to happen more. So he knew what he was doing. RJ knew what he was doing. He's an orchestrator.
The day is gonna come when your son is gonna say things to you.
Yeah,
man. Both of your sons.
And what's crazy is like I'm finding Jalil wanting to be in my space more. Whether it's like, oh hey, I just want to go to work with you. Jalil goes to a different school than I work at, and now he's slowly starting to be like, well, I want to go to your school, and I want to go. I'm like, no, are you sure? Not because I don't want him to go to that school, but I don't know if I'm ready for him to be at that school, because now I got quick access to him, and if I gotta, I gotta get onto him, I can. But he's him and Keon not so much, but him and Seven, they're trying to be in my space a lot more. Which is telling me like I need to either invite them into the space, or I need to create another space where it's just us.
Or they're saying, I want to be with my daddy.
Correct.
Because they don't have to have that type of attitude like they want to be with you.
They don't.
That means you've been doing something right.
Right.
They want to be with you.
So like I'm trying to lean into that a little bit more. And just kind of expose them a little bit more to what I do and just being with me, because on the flip side, like I know I did that, but I know my dad was always like, nope, I gotta go to work, or nope, I gotta go do this, I gotta do that. And there were times like he would let me in, like, I would go to the bowling alley with him, and he, cause he did like bowling leagues on Thursdays. And, I would go to the bowling alley with him and see him bowl, and, then tear up the arcade and, just be a little hoodlum in the bowling alley. But I remember there was times I was in his space and he was bowling, and I got a chance to see him bowl his first out of 300 games. And it was a big moment for him. So I'm seeing the parallel like we talked about earlier. I just need to do a better job putting my kids in the space. Lee, I see what you did there. I
want to make that a staple on our show whenever we have guests, because we started up the show with me expressing my gratitude, my appreciation of my dad, and whether your father is still alive or not, if he was a good dad and you have good memories of him and you appreciate him, I think that it's important, not just for the father if he's still alive, but for you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? For there to be some sort of internal recognition and appreciation.
Agreed.
Yeah.
And some, like you said, forgiveness. You know what I mean? I think it goes a long way.
I mean, yeah, me do the same thing. So.
Yeah, probably.
By yourself.
So, man, with that being said, bro, like I want to say again, thank you for your transparency. Thank you for spending this time.
Thank you for creating space, man.
Of course, bro. And it goes without saying, but I'm saying it anyway, bro. We got none but love for you.
Yep.
That's
ever since y'all, you all hooked up. I mean, you was like family.
Yeah. For sure. For sure.
Yeah, it is what it is.
It just happened so naturally.
Yeah.
So with that being said, let's pour a little.
Oh
bit.
Yeah.
We're gonna do one more shot.
Yes,
not shot, but we'll do one more.
Well, I still have some in my glass.
Yeah, you got plenty.
Yeah,
you got plenty. It's crazy. Hey, let that man drink what he want to drink.
No, I'm saying because he's responsible.
He's also at home.
He's also at home.
He's also at his own house. He can go straight to his bed. Heads to the bed.
Exactly. Hopefully everybody sees like this Lil R&R, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, wow.
It's not the official logo,
right?
We got this as a Christmas present, the R. Johnson.
And let's tap into the cups because,
we're elevating.
Yeah, same thing on the cup.
Yeah, this is a blessing.
We deserve nice things.
We deserve nice things. So here's great dads. Here's the fatherhood. Here's the marriage. Here's the learning, failing, getting better,
all
doing
of it.
Better. All
forgiveness, healing.
Yes.
All of
restoration.
Wounds, yeah.
From your number one son.
Yeah.
We're gonna tap from that.
Son.
No.
No, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
Right here.
It's fine.
Right here.
1.5.
Yeah.
We'll give you that.
Okay.
Here.